Welcome back to the wonderful world of pronouns. Today we're going to be reviewing our tricky personal pronouns as well as looking at reciprocal pronouns. So remember for subjects that we use what we call a nominative case or a subjective case pronoun. So I said we or us were all wondering why he or him had decided to eat that raw onion like an apple at lunch. Well, we would choose the word we and we'd choose the word he because those are both subjects. We have to realize there are multiple subjects within a sentence. The word we is the subject of the verb were, but we also can have like other clauses within the sentence. And therefore, we have this clause starting off with the word why, and the word he is actually the subject of the verb had decided. So therefore, we use a subjective or a nominative case pronoun. And we usually do this very naturally. They make a lot of sense to our grammar guts. Now, predicate nominatives are a different story. Remember, when we're building like a pattern 3 or a pattern 5, and we're following a to be verb or following a linking verb, we still have to use what we call the nominative or the subjective case pronoun. So if I say the winners of the debate should have been we or should have been us because of our ideas, but the class was swayed easily by the other team's glittery poster. Drat you, glittery poster. Well, as much as it might go against our grammar gut, we have to use the word we. If you think about it, the subject is winners, the verb is should have been, and the predicate nominative is we. We is renaming winners. And you sort of have to almost reverse it and think we should have been the winners or the winners should have been we. It's the same thing. And so we have to use the word we. It sounds really weird and formal to use the word we, but that would be correct. So be careful. That's tricky. Also be aware that there are subjects of elliptical clauses. So if I said, is anyone else as excited as I or as excited as me to be studying pronouns today? Well, a lot of us want to use the word me thinking it's like a prep phrase, but the word as is actually very rarely a preposition. Usually it's a subordinating conjunction which starts a brand new clause. So I'm going to choose the word I because what I'm really saying is anyone else as excited as I am to be studying pronouns today? Sorry about that. And so be careful of our elliptical clauses where we have to actually finish the full thought and realize, oh, the word I is actually a subject of a missing verb. Remember, with direct objects, we always use an objective case pronoun, and those are pretty easy. Once again, our grammar gut doesn't steer us wrong on this. Looking for a prom date, he approached she or he approached her with the smooth, slick walk of a player on a rap music video. Well, we would all naturally use the word her. It's the direct object. That makes a lot of sense. Indirect objects, once again, use an objective case pronoun. Our grammar gut usually gets this correct as well. Knowing that he cheated on her, she gave he or she gave him a piece of her mind in front of the entire cafeteria. Oh, there we are, giving someone a piece of our mind. We're going to use that word him in this case because him is our indirect object. You're giving a piece of mind to him. Good for you. Our objects rather of the preposition are where it gets a little tricky. So be careful of the object's preposition. It's still going to be an objective case pronoun. So if I say, if it weren't for they or it weren't for them, she would never have become such a successful oncologist. And so she thanked her parents at her graduation from med school. Well, it's going to come off this preposition of the word for, and we'd say if it weren't for them. It's a little tricky because that to be verb were, in this case weren't, it can make it look like it's a pattern 3, but it's not. It's saying if it weren't prep phrase for them. The new ones I want to take a look at today are reciprocal pronouns. Reciprocal pronouns, there are 2 of them. There's each other and one another. Both of them are actually individual words. So a reciprocal pronoun shows the reciprocation of an action. A reciprocation basically means I do something for you and you do something for me. Very similar to we have reciprocal fractions in math, where 3/4 is the reciprocal of 4/3. We're simply kind of reversing the order of our numerator and our denominator in terms of fractions. Same thing happens kind of like in English grammar in the fact that we reciprocate an action. So we use each other for 2 people, 2 things, 2 anything. And you use one another for 3 or more. It's really kind of easy. So we have to make sure that we know what we're referring to. That way we can decide whether we should use each other or one another. So if I say, for example, Mitchell and Josh gave each other foot rubs to relax before the board races. Well, I naturally use the word each other because it's referring to 2 people. in this case, Mitchell and Josh. If I said Abby, Sydney, and Mariah met at the Route 30 diner with empty stomachs, then they challenged one another to a pancake eating contest. Well, I'm going to use one another. Within the sentence, one another refers to the word they. But if I use my logic, the word they is referring to Abby, Sydney, and Mariah. So indirectly, one another refers to Abby, Sydney, and Mariah. There are three, so therefore I use one another. Pretty easy. So I want you to try practicing these